Talk to us about what is happening where you are right now.
Hi there, Collie. We are along the Golden Highway. On my right, it's Freedom Park, and also in front of me or left, it's Eldorado Park, and also further down, Collie, it's Lehaye here in Lenasia. As you can see that residents have already started blockading the road, burning tires. Some of the community leaders, Goli, had walked out of the meeting that was held yesterday with the Human Settlements MEC here in Gauteng, saying that they can no longer listen to what he was telling them about their concerns, as what he was saying to them is something that's not new. Let's remind you, Goli, what's at the heart of this protest. Residents in Freedom Park, for example, are saying that they were promised about 48,000 stands by the local, by the Human Settlements MEC last year, and they're saying that that has not happened. In Eldorado Park, residents will tell you that they were promised title deeds. In Lehaye, residents there are saying that the houses that were given to them are too small, and now they want to move to the land that's opposite their community. I'm just going to bring one person here just to give us a sense of why they're back on the streets. Tabang, you were in that meeting yesterday. Clearly you're not satisfied with what came out of that meeting.
Well, yes, Malungelo, it was the same old boring song of promising people time and again. We know that song. It started from the previous MECs, Humphrey Memezi, Mama Bolo, Mashatile. You know, it's now Uhuru. We know that boring song.
What do you want? What do you want?
People were promised that they will be allocated to 48,000 stands that are in Southern Farm. And now what are people waiting for? It's a go-ahead from the government. Instead of that transforming for a good cause, the province is blaming the city. The province is blaming the mayor, Herman Mashaba. We have given them a task that on the 12th, we will be having a gathering, and we want all the spheres of the government. We want the province, we want the Joburg mayor to come and account, and we are also irritated by Herman Mashaba for returning back 138 million back to the treasury, and yet we are having people on the ground who are landlessness, who are homelessness, who are unemployed.
Why take to the streets, though, Tabang, if you are waiting for them for that meeting on the 12th? Why don't you wait for that meeting?
In actual fact, the MEC, he himself, has announced yesterday on national television, even before we could come as leaders and address our own people. It is as this result. Why do you see these people here this morning barricading?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. All right, Koli, you can hear the frustration from some of the leaders that were in that meeting, saying that they've heard it all before. And in fact, Koli, one of the things that the Human Settlements MEC yesterday said, he conceded, Koli, that the reasons why we're seeing these protests is because that government has failed, in fact, to communicate with the people effectively. That's the word he used. He said government has failed to effectively communicate its plans with the people about the concerns that were made. And of course, he also highlighted the issue of underspending, saying that it is the problem. And that's also one of the things that's quite irritating, that some of the residents, as you heard, Tabang, that they are irritated that there's money that was sent back to Treasury, not only by the city of Johannesburg, by also the Human Settlements Department here in Gauteng, considering the fact that when you're looking at the housing backlog in this province, it stands at around 800,000.
Malungelo, it's clear that trust has broken down between residents and the authorities. Malungelo, talk to us about what government officials are saying they're going to do to try and rebuild that trust. And add to that, Malungelo, the question around what residents are saying in terms of them continuing this. Is this going to be ongoing? When is it going to come to an end?
So, one of the things, Koli, that the MEC said yesterday was that he will begin engaging with all these communities. In fact, he's saying that he's put together a team that will look into the promises that were made to residents and see what has been done in order to address those problems, and then he's going to pick it up from there. And he also said that he would be starting to engage. In fact, this weekend he said he would be visiting some communities. He mentioned Annandale, he mentioned Kliptown, that he would start to visit some of these communities in order to interface and sort of like build relationship. Golly, you're right, because trust here has been broken. I want to bring in one more gentleman into this conversation. Sir, thanks for your time. I mean, do you trust that the new MEC will deliver to what you guys want?
No, we don't trust him.
Why?
Reason being
Why
is...
are you not giving him a chance?
You can't tell us you are sitting in a chair for 4 weeks. On the end of the day he's coming back with same old things that was happening last year, 2017, with Minister Sisulu. Why can't bring us the same things back? Bring us something new. Give us positive answers. And we don't want him in the areas. We want them on the 12th of May, 2018, to come give feedback to the community. The only development in Eldorado Park that happened is a police station. And we can't allow that. The same with the mayor. Why are you giving money back? That is not right. We are needing the money. We need houses. Our people are suffering. We have backyard dwellers. Backyard dwellers comes from special need people, elderly people, and people with disability. We have a lot of problems here in Eldorado Park, Freedom Park, Soweto, Orange Farm, Lahe, all over. And why are they giving money back? So they are not interested in us. So we say no to the minister, to the MEC to come and address individuals. He must come with the MEC of education, with the MEC of environmental, economic, infrastructure, and we want MECs and MMCs with the mayor, and as well as the David Makura, the premier. We want them to come address us and give us properly information and a timeline regarding this. Thank you very much.
I think one of the things, Koli, that's coming out from some of the people that we're interfacing here with is that there's an urgent need for a timeline. If you're talking that you're going to be putting, for example, houses, when are you going to build those houses, and when will people move in? People want tangible time frames so that they can be able to have something to look forward to.
Right, Malu, as we end our conversation, you and I, talk to us about the issue that was raised earlier by Tabang, the person you spoke to earlier, who spoke about 138 million rand that he says has been returned by the mayor of Johannesburg, Herman Mashaba, back to Treasury. What has been the explanation from the MEC for why this money is being returned when clearly there is a need to spend it?
Exactly, it's mind-boggling, Koli, when you hear that there's money that was sent back to Treasury, not only by the city of Joburg, but also by the Human Settlements Department. One of the explanations, though, that the MEC said to us while he was trying to explain that, he said some of the money was returned because when they needed to build, in some areas where they needed to build houses, there's a lack of bulk infrastructure, saying that it's hard for them to build houses when there is no infrastructure. So that's why then money had to be sent back. That's why that money was not spent, because there was no bulk infrastructure in some of the land that these houses were meant to be built on, and so they couldn't and proceed to build the houses that are so much needed in these communities. But of course, they have to come and explain that to these community members.